Hi, my name is Greg Geisinger and I'm the Compliance Officer for GH Berlin Windward. Today we want to present a bit of information that will prove helpful to our customers as they navigate all the new regulations surrounding the globally harmonized system, otherwise known as GHS. Simply put, the GHS rollout has some specific dates to pay attention to as well as specific requirements for safety data sheets and labels. The following presentation should hopefully give you the answers you need, and if not, we're here to help. First of all, let's just say that GHS is not actually a very bad idea at all. It tells manufacturers around the world to evaluate any product they sell for physical hazards such as flammability or explosiveness, or health hazards such as toxins or cancer, to name a few. If an item surpasses the chemical allowance threshold, it is then GHS applicable. It must have a new safety data sheet and new label requirements. If it does not, you'll see very little change in either. So how do we know if an item is GHS hazardous? First, check the safety data sheet. We are at the mercy of our suppliers. They had until June 1st to change the MSDS to an SDS and include all the crucial bits of information that tells us if we have a hot potato. In Section 2, if there's a signal word or pictogram, it is deemed hazardous. Second, check the label. All products manufactured after June 1st, 2015 that are determined to be hazardous must have specific GHS info on the product labels, such as these pictograms that we'll go over in a minute. Safety data sheets. These used to be called Material Safety Data Sheets, or MSDS, and on June 1 of 2015, if an item tested as hazardous according to the GHS thresholds for chemicals, the MSDS would have to be rewritten into a Safety Data Sheet, or SDS, and include these 16 parts in a very specific order. Note that not every MSDS must be changed into an SDS. Only items that tested as hazardous according to GHS thresholds will require one. You'll find that most manufacturers are changing their MSDS into SDS, even for items not deemed hazardous, just for consistency. One area we should seek to clarify is the confusion surrounding the definition of what is hazardous. Essentially, we have two definitions and both have different chemical thresholds to require labeling. To make it simple, in America we have the Department of Transportation, or DOT, which has thresholds and labeling requirements for the transport of hazardous products. They look like these that we're very familiar with. And now we have GHS, which has their own hazardous thresholds that are represented with pictograms like this. DOT is concerned about hazardous transportation and has much higher thresholds, while GHS is concerned about human reactions to a product with much lower thresholds. If a package is both GHS and DOT hazardous, it will have both labels on the package. In many cases, though, an item will have a GHS pictogram on it, but will not have the much higher threshold DOT label. Labels. Here are two examples of GHS compliant labels. As we discuss these, remember three things. Only products manufactured after June 1st, 2015 must have a GHS label. Only products sold after December 1st, 2015 must have a GHS label. This allowed distributors like us several months to sell off inventory that is not labeled properly. And only labels that are on products that are deemed hazardous will have a GHS label. Like Mobile Special 530 is not deemed hazardous, so we'll see no changes on the label. The only element on a label that must be color is the red border around the pictogram. If you see a pictogram with a black border, notify me or the facility manager. Every GHS label must have 6 elements to be compliant. The new items on the label that make it the most noticeable are the signal word and the pictograms. There are only 2 signal words, danger or warning. Danger is the most severe and warning is less severe. Pictograms we'll talk about that next. And a frequently asked question from customers, do I need to have all my labels updated to the new GHS format? The answer is no. Only products sold after December 1st, 2015 must have a GHS label info, and only if the item is deemed hazardous. Pictograms. Pictograms are simply logos for the different types of hazards that are identified in a product. There are 9 total pictograms and they represent the different physical and health hazards that you may be exposed to. Remember, This is not just work related. You'll see pictograms on many of the items you regularly buy. You need to become familiar with these and be able to identify the hazards when you're making a purchasing decision. Another frequently asked question is regarding this diamond on tanks as well as most of the items we sell. This little triangle here is called the NFPA, or the National Fire Protection Association diamond. This has nothing to do with the GHS program, and you'll continue to see it on our products. Don't know what it is? This triangle works like a placard for first responders, or even you and I, to know the dangers associated with an item. Just remember this: the highest number will go to 4. A 4 is most severe. A 4 at the top in red is extreme fire hazard. A 4 on the right in yellow is extreme reactivity. A 4 on the left in blue is extreme health hazard. And the bottom block may be empty or suggest personal protective equipment. Okay, let's wrap up with GHS in a nutshell. Many material safety data sheets are now safety data sheets effective June 1st, 2015. Safety data sheets must be created by June 1st, 2015 only if the item is deemed GHS hazardous. Any product manufactured after June 1st, 2015 must have a GHS label if GHS hazardous, and any product sold after December 1st, 2015 must have a compliant GHS label if necessary. You'll notice the period between June 1st, 2015 and December 1st, 2015 is the period for manufacturers and distributors to sell off product that isn't GHS label compliant. And if a product was purchased by the end user prior to December 1st, 2015, a GHS label is not necessary. We hope this helps, and if any questions, we'd be glad to help.